guys! Yes, I will be making videos on my normal camera at some point, okay, before anyone asks. I know the past few videos have just been, hey guys, I'm back on the webcam, or my phone, which this vlog's gonna be exactly the same. But as I say, videos on the actual camera coming soon. Ignore that. But videos on my actual camera are coming soon. I just thought it would be easier to do this kind of get ready with me kind of chatty style of a video from my webcam instead of having to faff around with my camera. So, as you can see from the title, today is like a get ready with me kind of chat. Whilst I get ready to go out to my first theatre. Well, I mean, it's not actually at a theatre. It's at my church hall because it's the youth theatre group that I used to be in. So, hang on. Context. Tonight I'm going to my first show in over a year. I'm seeing a production of The Addams Family, the musical, by the youth theatre group that I used to be in. Quite a few years back now, and since it's, you know, the pandemic is over in the most part, we'll get into that during this bit, but yeah, as I say, I want to support theatre as much as I possibly can post-pandemic, because as we'll get into the discussion, it's the one sector, as well as the hospitality sector and like the entertainment sector, that and like the nightlife kind of sector, it's been the most affected by the pandemic, and the most and the industries that have had the least funding and the least financial help. So, as I say, although it's not like a professional theatre, it still contributes to some extent. It's still, you know, as I say, I still want to support any kind of theatre related thing that I can at the moment, so hence why I was like, let's go see this, because I know people in the main cast, plus it's a show, and we haven't seen one of them in over a year, as I said. So, as I say, I thought today, whilst I get ready for this evening, I would sort of sit down, do kind of a get ready with me, and just kind of discuss the process of my makeup, but also what the theatre industry's been through the pandemic and that kind of thing. So we'll get into that as I'm doing my skin prep. First thing, yes, I'm just whacking sun cream on my face, as well as then following it with my moisturiser. Don't judge me, I know you're supposed to use like facial sunscreen, but I don't. Plus I don't actually use this every day. It's only part of like my skin prep if it's hot outside. Plus I'm not using that much of it, so it is what it is. Plus if I'm looking down a lot, my mirror is like down here, so I'm gonna have to like try and adjust that so I can see the camera at the same time. There we go. So yeah, theatres have definitely been affected over the pandemic, and to say that, I'm pretty sure it's the biggest understatement going. I know the West End had a phase of reopening in like October, November, but because of lockdown season 3, everything, you know, started to close again. Or was it lockdown 2? I think it was kind of the end of October when everything started to close again, which was terrible because obviously they'd only just started to try and get back on their feet, but by no means were they making profits, because for those who aren't aware, especially when it comes to the West End and Broadway and things, the reasons why kind of the prices of the tickets are so high and things like that is because they have to pay crew, rent, cast, maintenance potentially for like lights and stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. I know there's a big controversy around some producers and some directors liking the money a little bit too much, but going down to the bare bones of it, there are like actual reasons why the prices tend to be so high. By the way, that was just like the basic, the travel size of the Nivea sun cream, and I'm going in with the simple rich moisturiser. It's basic, it's cheap, it works. If I don't mention the products, At some point, I will try my best to do what like the beauty gurus do and put everything in the description. But if I don't do that, then I'm very sorry. But anyway, as I was saying, so yeah. So apart from like the little phase of reopening that they had, any kind of theatre or show or anything is going completely shut down. I know over the summer of last year, I think Six, which is a musical that comes up quite a lot, but I don't actually like that much. There are a couple of songs that are a bit catchy, i.e. the opening number and Don't Lose Your Head. Those are the two that I kind of know and can kind of bop to, but the concept of it and just the whole sort of vibe of the show, I don't get. It's not, you don't mess with history, essentially. You don't try and modernise it, you don't try and, especially because they're all dead, and then it's like, oh yeah, so I got beheaded, but now I'm here talking to you guys. It's like, is it a show for ghosts? I don't get it. But anyway, it's my little rant about Six over. But they tried to do, like, outdoor performances, didn't they? Like, they were attempting to do, like, a trial of outdoor performances, like a tour around the UK, last summer, which got everyone very excited, especially people in the US, because they thought, oh, with Broadway being dark, which it's still going to be dark until October, I'm so sorry, America, it's still going to be dark till October, but especially, like, in America, they were like, oh, if this goes ahead in the UK, then maybe we could be doing the same sort of thing, because ours is suffering loads, same as theirs. So there was a lot of kind of hype around that, but then, of course, that got cancelled, unfortunately, which was like a big, oh, well, there goes the hope we all had down the drain. Brilliant. So yeah, that was that, but so there have been kind of attempts, and I remember Britain's Got Talent last year, they did like a couple, like they got the cast of Mary Poppins, Les Mis, and I think Phantom, to come and do like a bit. I think was it the final or the semi-final, I don't know, can't really remember, but that was nice, because of course they all came together with a sort of with the version of One Day More that had the changed lyrics of, like I said, One Day More, it's one show more, which was a nice, like, yes, theatre moment for everyone, I think. But yeah, as I say, apart from that, most freelancers, as we were aware, they haven't been able to claim anything from the government, which was very, very sad. The government did absolutely nothing about that. I'm going to get on to... I am going to be talking about the government and politics in this video, because you have to when it comes to this. So, it is what it is. But yeah, unfortunately, because they were exempt from the furlough scheme and things like that, and other kind of funding schemes, even though the government tried to sort of brush past it and be like, hey, look, if you're on furlough, you can apply for this, this, and this. And then everyone was like, no, we can't, though. Duh. So that was a bit like, help, what are you doing? So that obviously wasn't great. But now we are slowly getting back to normal. I'm trying to think, because I've never actually done one of these before where I like attempt to do my makeup and talk at the same time. Plus it's incredibly warm in my room, I'm aware. I look very shiny and very sweaty and not that great right now. Trust me, I will look better before I go out. This is the whole point of the makeup, to make myself look better, essentially. But yeah, so I'm glad that we finally got to a point where we could try and reopen, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Oh no, no, no. As we all know, if you follow shows or anything on Instagram and whatever, because of COVID regulations, which are still in place, why, I don't know, but they still are, if one person from the cast gets COVID, or like the cast and crew gets COVID, everyone has to self-isolate. Everyone. Which means productions have cancelled. So, the recent one is Andrew Lloyd Webber's new production of Cinderella, is the new one that's been under fire, because there was that statement a couple of days ago, because obviously I think they managed to get 3 previews, but they had to stop right before opening night, because same thing happened, one of the cast got COVID, and then they all had to self-isolate. I think the Prince of Egypt has also been subject to this, and I swear maybe Come From Away has as well, I can't really remember. Phantom of the Opera is currently in rehearsal process, I'm pretty sure. By the way, that eye primer was the NYX HD Studio Photogenic, like the one that's got pigment in it, because that's like a clear waterproof one, but this has pigment in it, because I want to cover up the veins without using concealer, because my eyelids are the oiliest part of my face. So, actually, should I do my face voice, or should I do my eyeshadow? Questions that need to be answered. But yeah, so going back to the COVID restrictions, they really shouldn't be in place, because if we think about it, we had the tester nights out before the 19th of June, the 19th of July, so Monday, that essentially would test if like clubs and stuff without social distancing or without masks would work, which they did, hence why the nightclubs are open now, although by September you're gonna have to have your COVID pass, and that's a whole other can of worms, which no doubt we're probably gonna get into. By the way, I was talking about like my eyeshadow and difference between, I'm thinking, hence why I have all the gold swatches on my hand. I'm following this Pinterest picture for my eyes today, so hopefully, I mean, I don't have the holographic glitter, so that part's not going to be on there, but everything else hopefully should look good, hopefully. I don't know, I'm trying to make an effort, because as I say, this is the first time I've been out in ages, so yeah. But yeah, so we had those trials, and yet in theatres, despite the social distancing rules being eradicated now, apparently you still have to wear masks, you still have to sit down and wear masks if you sat down. It's not a case of just wear them as you come in, which even then would be a bit like, why? I don't see the necessity for this. Try and wipe that off my hand, because I need to use that for a swatch hand. But yeah, it's just, it makes no sense to me. It really, really doesn't, and it's like, especially because when we had the Euros, I mean, we all saw the pictures, right? I mean, apparently they had to have, like, a negative test or something. They used to, I don't even know whether there were any kind of regulations around that, but all I saw was the pictures of everyone with no masks on, crowded in, cramped in, yelling their faces off, which was a big thing about, like, because I'm in the church, I'm in the choir at my church, and we haven't been allowed to sing, like, the congregation haven't been allowed to sing, and we've had to stick to, like, the rule of 6 in the choir, because of, like, the aerosols and the transmissions from everything, and yet, Wembley, surely everyone was, like, screaming, whatever, like, there was, you cannot tell me that people were keeping quiet, because they weren't. I heard it, I watched the final, which, by the way, Italians played dirty, but I watched the final. By the way, I'm decided to do my eyebrows now. This is a completely, as I say, I'm not used to talking and doing my makeup at the same time, so I'm doing my eyebrows now, apparently. This is the Boy Brow in brown, right, brown. Holy grail, by the way. But yeah, they weren't, like, they were shouting, they were making a lot of noise, they were, you know, whatever kind of aerosol, terrifying particles that everyone's claiming are, you know, transmitted, were probably transmitted. You know, it wasn't, you cannot tell me that makes sense. It's like, make it make sense. And yet, I can't remember who it was that I saw do a rant about this on Instagram, because I follow someone who went to Italian Conti and she posted it on her Instagram story, but there was somebody who said, like, oh, you know, all these people at Wembley, and yet I have to wear a mask, not talk to anyone. If I'm in my dressing room, I have to just kind of sit there. You're not allowed to go out and mingle. You're not allowed to go to anyone else's dressing room. You have to stay in your own space. You can't really see anyone else, talk to anyone else in the same sort of space. It's, you know, and she was going through all of these things, and that was like all before you get on stage and all before you go into rehearsal. Apparently in rehearsal you have to wear masks and like distance and all this stuff, and yet she was comparing that to it, and it was like, no, that's a fair point. I can't actually remember who said that. It was some person, I think, who was part of the current West End cast of Come From Away. But she was absolutely bang on, because it's like one rule for one industry and one for the next. It's like, why does the government hate theatre so much? And this has been the case throughout the pandemic, you know. It's, you know, they can't function at 50% capacity. That's another thing. You know, because they're all being pushed to run at half capacity. I mean, not anymore, thank goodness. But still, with the COVID regulations of, like, the isolating thing, that still doesn't really work out the same. So, you know, there are a lot of contradictions and a lot of confusing things that just really don't make sense. I'm trying to speed up now, because I'm aware I'm not doing this very quickly. So... By the way, I'm going in with a very old palette. This is like the first Soph Does Life, or Soph Does Nails as she was then, palette from back in 2017. Don't think they even sell this palette anymore, but I still have it. Please don't judge me, I'm still got the majority of it. So, as I said, now I'm doing my eyes now apparently. But yeah, so to me it makes absolutely no sense. Now, going back to the government, when it comes to, like, COVID passports and whatever, now, I have been the first person to say on my YouTube channel that I am not left-wing, by any means. I am on the centre-right. I'm a member of the Conservative Party. I've never really shied away from that, which I know is extremely controversial, and especially right now, considering the pandemic. And I have to say, even though I still have my membership, the current government that we have in, I honestly think they should go. Like, Bojo, you've had your time. I'm sorry, you got us through Brexit, which granted was very important, and I'm glad you got us through that, but at the same time, you've had your time. Like, this is it now. You know, we can get a new leader in, please, because ever since you had COVID, you lost your mojo, even though you tried to say you didn't. I mean, as I say, I'm all for conservative values, I'm all for, you know, their economic policies, and think, to be honest, overall, we were a lot better off with the Conservatives than we would have been under Labour. So, it is what it is, really, but at the same time, right now, with everything that's gone on with the COVID passports, and the constant U-turns, and the lack of funding for the theatre industry, and all this stuff, and now with the COVID passports, you know, as I say, that is the most disastrous thing, because it's excluding the people who weren't able to get the vaccine for medical reasons or whatever. I mean, as much as I'm pro-vaccine and I've had my vaccination, I mean, I made a whole vlog about it, and I'm getting my second one. I'm getting a different mirror, because this is how old this palette is, right? The mirror fell off, so. But it's a lot better if I use this mirror and have it a bit like up here, so I can actually see what I'm doing. So if you can't see me for the majority, I'll try and speak up. But this is how we're gonna be for the next 3 minutes. So apologies. Anyway, yeah, the COVID passports. It's the most. No, I'm on a Discord server. That is also kind of centre-right, although we do try to be inclusive, like, it's not purely, like, for the centre-right, I will admit, but at the same time, we have all said that this government has had its time, that it's kind of turning low-key into a bit of a dictatorship with the amount of, even though Monday was supposed to be Freedom Day, we still don't really have freedom. My thing is, as well, about the masks, especially after Freedom Day, they were supposed to be up to individual preference, whether you wanted to wear them or not. They weren't supposed to be giving powers to corporations or institutions or shops and things, and yet they have done. And now they're giving you know, now they're dictating us further by making us have COVID passports, which, as I say, is going to exclude quite a few people from doing anything. It's going to restrict, as I say, the few people who haven't been able to have the COVID vaccine for medical reasons, or anyone who hasn't had their second dose yet. You know, because apparently the COVID passports are imminent, and those who, especially like the younger people, who obviously had their vaccines, like their first doses, like very recently, aren't going to be having, because there are a lot of people who are still only just getting their first dose, right? So it's not like, yeah, it's going to delay things further, and also therefore hit the industries in which the COVID passport is being enforced, at least in my opinion. So, you know, it's a disastrous thing. And another thing is, as I say, we are looking at the wrong set of data. Like, this is the thing. As soon as people, like, people started getting vaccinated en masse, which happened fairly quickly, okay, and the deaths started to go down, and the hospital cases started to go down exponentially, they were still looking at the case numbers in terms of letting us free. Just because they were granted quite a bit slow when the Indian variant, and yes, I'm calling it the Indian variant, not the Delta variant, because it's not racist to say Indian. Lefty snowflakes, you can not dealing with the snowflakes here. But, you know, as I say, it was ridiculous. As soon as that started to come in, and as I say, that was slow on Boris's part, for not closing the borders, or at least on the part of the Home Secretary for not closing the borders quick enough. Hence this massive spike in numbers because of the Indian variant, which is fair enough. But at the same time, even though the Indian variant was coming in exponentially, people weren't dying from it. Why? Because they've been vaccinated. People weren't going into hospital, people weren't dying from it. There are a few deaths, granted, but again, we have to remember those deaths are people with, the people who died with COVID, not of it. And 61% of the people in hospital with, like, cases of COVID, like bad COVID, are people who haven't been vaccinated. So, there you go. Those are the statistics we should have been focusing on. I mean, I know the 61% had to be corrected by the media because Boris misquoted it. But at the same time, those are the figures that we should have been looking at. Those are the figures we should have been looking at ever since we started to think about unlocking. Because there are states in the US, like I think Las Vegas, who opened very, very quickly. And as much as I am less of a fan of Biden now than I was at the time of the election, and I know it's not really his responsibility to keep up with what his senators are doing in different states, they reopened. They got their people vaccinated and they reopened. It was fine, right? But yeah, we were still here under all these draconian measures, and still are in some, like, to some respect, like, to some extent. So, yeah, it's still a bit of a mess. As much as, you know, we can celebrate freedom in some respects, and, you know, we are a lot more free in terms of no longer having to social distance and things like that, and masks no longer being mandatory. In theory, as I want to say before, you know, but at the same time, you know, we are still under restrictions, and we still will be. There are rumours that we could be going back and under another lockdown in like 3 weeks. According to Dominic Cummings, who, you know, we don't necessarily trust because he's a bit of a disgruntled ex-employee, I'll be the first to admit that, but at the same time, if those rumours are true, they're just plotting. I think the government at the moment, they just... I mean, I don't want to say that they've got used to controlling us and they like it, but... I don't really believe that, to be honest, when people say that, but it is getting ridiculous at this point. The amount of freedom we should have compared to what we are having, and the amount of discrimination that's going to happen with the COVID passports to the people who haven't been able to be vaccinated yet is going to go through the roof. And, you know, in other countries, like I think France is the next country to try and introduce the COVID passports, and the French, they've taken to the streets and they're like, no, Macron, you can bug off. You can get stuffed, lad, which, you know, is, as much as I don't really like the French, you know, it is fair enough. So, it is what it is, really, but, you know, you really have to think for a second about the reality of the situation. I mean, as much as, like, as I say, yes, we should be happy that we are a lot more free than we were, but it's not complete freedom. Not yet. And that is the sad thing. And going back to theatre, it's like, will they ever recover? Because they've been under so much so much pressure, and they've been beaten down so much over this pandemic. They have been so badly affected, and it's like, it's gonna take them so long to recover. And that's why I'm saying, anyone who has the opportunity to go see a show, especially if it's a professional one, please do, because they need you to support them desperately. Yes, so, you know, they need the money. So I know quite a lot of tours are starting at the moment, or at least beginning to start, or in rehearsals, or release dates and things. Buy tickets for them. I know Heather's is coming. Did I see one for Waitress at one point? I might have done. I can't really remember. I know that Dirty Dancing, if anyone likes that musical, is coming around at some point. I mean, it's in Blackpool at the moment, but I know it's probably not going to stop there. So probably not. It's the last venue. So, as I say, if you have the opportunity to go and support your local theatre, or like me, even if it is your community theatre, they need money to like pay their tech team, or to pay rent for the venue that they're, you know, in. You know, the group that I'm seeing tonight, they have to pay rent to the church to use the hall, or at least that's what I'm aware of. So, you know, they have to do that. So, and they've been postponed like 4 times. There are a couple of people in, well, I think there's like one person in the cast who have actually had to come back from, I know there's 2 people who've actually had to come back from university to be in this production because they were away. They should have been, like, it should have been their last show like last year when it was supposed to originally be, but because of the pandemic, they, you know, obviously had to do their entire first year of university and then come back for this. So it is what it is. I'm just softening up the edge of my eyeshadow here, but yeah, it is what it is, and it's sad. See, I'll drop in the mirror there. I'll take a proper picture of this when it's all done, by the way, so you can see what it looks like. Because I know over the webcam it's not looking the best right now. But actually, it's alright. But as I say, I'll take a proper picture so you'll see what it looks like at the end. But yeah, so as I say, this is why I was so keen to get to this production, because I was aware that even though this is like community theatre, it is still like community theatre. It is still important that we go and support these people, because they have worked hard, and you know, they're finally getting a chance to showcase what they were working on for so many months, and then had to sort of take massive breaks and then come back and try and remember it all, so like again over again. So, you know, I'm just taking another old product to try and get that effect of the holographic glitter, even though it's not going to be the same. I'm using this sleek Solstice palette. I'm not going to lift it up. Not that it's disgusting, but it's broken. From like 2016. I use a lot of old palettes and stuff. So do not judge me. It still works. But I'm just gonna put that kind of in this area a bit, just to try and brighten this area up just a tad. I need to get some glitter really. But anyway, so as I say, that's why I was so keen to go see this, because I was there like, okay, well, I really want to go out, first of all, because being stuck inside even after Freedom Day, my brain's like, hey, we should be going out, why aren't we going out? So as soon as I was like, oh, okay, well, I really want to go see this, because I know a few people in the cast. Oh my goodness, there are a couple of people in the cast who were part of the last cohort of year 7s I saw come into my high school when I was in year 11, who've just had their prom, who just left year 11, who were going to, like, sixth form and college. Do you understand how old I feel? Like, their prom was a couple of days ago, and I was seeing all the pictures, and I was like, no. You're still, like, in primary school in my head. Like, no, this isn't right, bro. This is not right. This isn't right. This feels wrong to me. So that was trippy, and I'm waiting to see how they do in this production today. So that'll be fun. And plus, obviously, I haven't seen anyone in, like, this production for a while, because a lot of them are a lot younger than me. Like, the girl who's playing Morticia, she's 2 years below me, and she used to, like, be in choir in high school and whatever, and, like, we used to talk and it was fine. She's actually the one that I contacted to get the tickets, because you could, like, message people, anyone in the cast if you want tickets, so that's who I messaged, and she was like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it, so I'm looking forward to see if I get to see her at the end, if we decide to sort of stay behind and see who we can kind of talk to, because I fancy being sociable, why not, but I'm looking forward to seeing this. As I said, it's a production of The Addams Family, which I have seen before. I saw a production of back in 2018, I'm pretty sure, like it was around kind of October of 2018. I might actually dampen a brush and go in and try and make this a little bit more metallic, because it's looking nice and shiny, but it's looking a little bit dull right now for my liking, so I kind of want to try and see if I can kind of sparkle this up a bit, because I am really trying to be, like, glowing right now. But yeah, so as I say, I'm looking forward to see if I can sort of catch up with any of them after the show, but I don't know if that's going to be the case, if any of them are either going to recognise me anymore or what. Or even know. So yeah, as I say, I was actually in this company, this group a couple of years ago. Actually, a few years ago. It was from like September 2015 to kind of July of 2017 is when I was in this, which was technically like 2 years before I was due to leave, because it's, I think, 7 to 18, I think, is, like, the age range. So I could have actually stayed on for a bit longer if I wanted to, but they were doing, I think, well, the two productions that I was in was Cats and Joseph, which is the massive long title that I'm sure you guys all know. Then I'm not gonna say, because I can't stand my problems, am I right? But though it was a very good time of my life, I will not lie to you. Just dampening this brush here quick so I can make this a little bit more shiny. But it was a great time of my life. It was the last 2 years of high school for me, which was a very good chance to spend the last 2 years of my high school life with doing something on a Sunday evening that I love doing. You know, I think I've said on my channel multiple times with the theatre related content that I have done occasionally, that I should probably do more of, to be honest, is that I am a theatre kid at heart. I always have been, always will be. I really want to do a show again. It's been over a year since I've been on stage. Like, the last time I was, like, doing musicals properly, as I said, was actually this time of my life when I was in this group, so, you know, I want to be in that kind of phase of my life again, but now that I'm an adult kind of a thing, and now I have potentially more of a chance of getting a main role. I mean, not that I didn't at the time, you know, when I was in this. If you guys want to go watch a bit of, like, a cheeky kind of making fun of the time I was in this show, if you want to go and look at quite a popular video, actually, I get quite a lot of comments on this, even though it was from, like, 2017, I think I made that video. But if you want to go and watch the Truths About Amateur Theatre Groups video, if you go on my channel, look that up. That is kind of a rant about some of the things I experienced while I was in this group, even though I don't actually mention the name. I mean, not that I'm going to mention the name in this either, but I don't actually mention much. But yeah, it's quite a funny video because it essentially takes the absolute it essentially roasts some of the things I experienced during that time. It was kind of meant to be like a funny, like a comedy skit video. I was going through like a weird phase in my channel, to be honest. I think that's enough. It's okay, this eye look is not going to look exactly like the Pinterest picture, I have to admit to you guys now. Just because I don't have the glitter and I don't have... I have a different eye shape to the girl in the thing, and yeah, I just don't have the products, but it's still going to come out pretty nice, I reckon. I'm just going to redo that eye. But yeah, it was, as I say, it was a good time in my life. I would die to do it again. I would replay that phase of my life again and again if I could. Because, as I say, it was a very enjoyable time. I was doing it at the time with like some of my friends at the time, which again just made the experience so much better because it's always good to do like hobbies and things that you love with your friends because you look forward to seeing them more and things like that, and it's just funny to have people to talk to as well, you know. This was a time in my life where I did have more friends than I do now. I mean, as I say, I'm on a Discord that I go on like the voice channel for like every night. And that's how I met my boyfriend. If you follow me on Instagram, you know, she's no longer a single lady. Yeah, so that's how I met my boyfriend as well. So it's been an all around a very good year so far. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I had a lot more friends back then, and as I say, like my time in this group was with the majority of them, so it was just fun to work on a project together and, you know, be in shows together. As I say, it was a very fun time in my life. I enjoyed it very much. Would do it again, 10 out of 10. But as Dodie says, never gonna be 16 again. That was a terrible reference, but if you've listened to her new album, then you get the reference. But hopefully, but yeah, you know, you have to move on because I'm not friends with those people anymore. Don't talk to them. 2018. So yeah. But yeah. Anyway, it was as I say though, it was a fun time in my life. Would do it again. For anyone who is potentially into theatre, wants to get into theatre, is around the age where, you know, you can still join like a youth theatre group, I would highly recommend doing it. If you have an interest in theatre, in any kind of musical theatre, drama, anything, I would highly recommend going to audition. I mean, do be aware that there tends to be quite a lot of favouritism in already established groups, so don't expect to necessarily get the leading role right away, just being absolutely honest there, because by no means, I mean, yes, at the time when I was like 15 or 16 years old, I needed to practice my singing a lot more and like get my technique right. I'm still doing my eyes and it's like half an hour in, it's like almost 40 minutes in and I've only been doing my eyes. I need to speed up, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, honestly, it's as I say, it was like one of the best things I ever did in my childhood, like my late teens, and honestly, well, kind of like my mid to late teens, and unfortunately, as I say, I haven't been able to do anything theatre related since 2019, actually. I was in a pantomime back in 2019, I don't think I ever actually talked about this on my channel, but in 2019 I was in a pantomime with a group that my dad had been in for a couple of years. Actually no, was he in it for a couple of years? I think he'd like known people and then just kind of got involved with it, but yeah, okay, I'm gonna get my micellar water and a cotton pad and I'm gonna like clean up under my eyes 1 second, so 1 second. But yeah, as I say, I haven't actually been in a show since 2019. I thought I was gonna be... Actually, let me talk about it. So the reason that I actually left the group that I'm seeing the show with, like, tonight, is because one, after Joseph, the next show they were doing was The Wiz. Don't know if you know what The Wiz is. It's essentially like The Wizard of Oz, but it was essentially like Motown version of The Wizard of Oz, basically. I think it was a 1970s film, was the original film. Could have used like eyeshadow guards for this, because I have eyeshadow guards, but anyway. Yeah, so I think the original film was made in the 70s. It had Michael Jackson in it when he was still black, and I'm gonna get cancelled for that. And it had like, oh god, what's her name? Diana Ross, that's it. She was also in it. I guess it has some catchy songs in it, but controversial opinion. Love Wicked, hate The Wizard of Oz. I cannot stand The Wizard of Oz. It makes me want to jump off a cliff every time I hear, we're off to see the wizard. I'd get me out of a window now. Honestly, it makes me, as I say, want to jump off a cliff, out of a window, just end everything. I cannot stand it. But as I say, Wicked, on the other hand, can't get enough of, love it. But I think they are quite different things. So, as I say, for anyone who's fans of the show, is that just me? By the way, if you share that opinion, please, like, leave it in the comments. I would love to know. But yeah, as I say, they were doing The Wiz, and then after that, and plus I thought, because I was going to sixth form, I thought that I was going to be in the sixth form productions. Shall I tell that story now? Okay, actually no, probs not, because this is going to take forever, probably, if I start telling that story. But yeah, so I was like, okay, well, it's fine, I can leave this now. Plus, all my friends were leaving at the same time, so, because of The Wiz, the fact they were doing The Wiz, and we didn't know it, and we didn't really want to be in it, so we thought, no point being in this anymore, ta-ra. Plus, obviously, we were sick of the favoritism and all this other stuff, but yeah, it is what it is, really. But yeah, sorry, just making sure my eyeshadow is symmetrical, because I still have to do like eyeliner. I'm gonna end up being late, aren't I? I'm right. I'm gonna speed up because this is getting ridiculous. Okay, I'm gonna use this tiny little eyeliner. I think it's supposed to be an eyebrow brush technically, but it's fine. But anyway, so as I say, we didn't really want to be in the shows anymore, but I was gonna be in the supposedly gonna be in the sixth form productions anyway, which never ended up happening. Story time for another video. But yeah, so I ended up leaving, but it was fine. It was okay. And then I didn't end up doing anything related to theatre until 2019. When I was in a pantomime, actually playing the lead role. It was the first time I'd ever actually played a lead, which was nice. Just trying to make sure this eyeliner's gonna match up with the eyeshadow. But yeah, so I played the lead role, which was the first time I'd ever done that. So it was like, it was a nice first opportunity to do something like that. Which was exciting. I definitely enjoyed it, purely because, as I say, it was the first time I'd done anything like theatre related, apart from my A-level drama. Like, I was still doing something drama related. It wasn't completely stale, because I was doing my A-level in it, so it wasn't completely, like, I wasn't completely deprived of it. But, hashtag don't do badly written original pantomimes. Sorry, but I didn't. Yeah, it was a time in my life that I kind of enjoyed, but wouldn't really do again, purely because the script was not brilliant. I have to admit. I'm sorry if anyone's watching this from that group, but yeah. I mean, as I say, it was fun. It was definitely fun. I just wouldn't really do it again. I'm not gonna be doing like the all-around eyeliner like they had in the picture, just because time. And I'm gonna take this darker colour, just to go over that. But yeah, and then since then I thought, oh, okay, well, I mean, I'll find something to do in Bolton. Yeah, that never happened. So as I say, I haven't done anything kind of performing arts related, anything drama related, since 2019, and that was like the beginning of 2019, because that pantomime was in the February. of 2019. So, as I say, it's completely dried up. And then obviously seeing the pandemic hit the performing arts industry so terribly, it honestly broke my heart, because I was just there like, but I love theatre and they're destroying it, what the heck? It was a very sad time, I have to admit. So, as I say, I am quite excited to be technically going to the theatre again tonight, even though, as I say, it is my church hall. It's my church hall with the stage, with the extensions on it, the tech booth at the back and all that. I mean, it was very nostalgic to see all the techies on Sunday getting all the tech stuff in and setting it all up, and I saw my famous ladder in the church hall that they always use and put in the same place for some, I don't know why, it always seems to be in that position. I don't have COVID, promise. But yeah, so, as I say, it was very nostalgic, very exciting, and I am very excited for tonight. I'm going to leave this eyeliner because it's going to get too dark, and it's going to look terrible. I can already tell if I go any darker with it. I'm going to have to even this out. Evening out eyeshadow liner. This is the point we've reached, folks. But yeah, so as I say, I'm very excited to see this. And I am very excited and really truly hope that the isolation rules in professional theatre are lifted and that Broadway can potentially open before October, because my goodness, they are going to need help. I mean, the big thing on Broadway, very quickly, The Music Man at the Winter Garden Theatre, which should still be Beetlejuice, as much as I don't really like it. It should still be Beetlejuice and not The Music Man, but anyway. I mean, if we're really gonna go there, it should still be School of Rock. I mean, come on. I know Alex Brightman was in Beetlejuice, but, you know, yeah, I love School of Rock. But anyway, so, yeah, as I say, I really, really hope that the quarantine rules in professional theatre get lifted, and they don't have to keep cancelling performances, because if they keep having to do that, they're not going to get anywhere. Like, quite frankly, Boris, they're not going to get anywhere. You really need to be voted out. We need a new leader of the Conservative Party. We just do. I am very sorry to admit, as a member of the Conservative Party, that he needs to go, but he does. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so I am going to continue doing my makeup, because I think this is the end of the discussion and I'm just going to be rambling on forever if I keep doing this, and I need to speed up getting ready because the show starts at 7:30 and I've got to have my tea and all that stuff. So I'm going to finish off my makeup. I'm going to show you guys what the final product looks like. I'm really trying to smudge this because it needs to be darker to fix this. Needs to be darker to fix whatever this is, or I'll just put more gold over it, I don't care. But yeah, so I'm gonna fix this, gonna finish my makeup, and then I will be back with you guys in a bit to show you, well, I'll put a picture in the final product, do a few clips, and then probably do the outro as I get back, like when I get back from the show. So I will give you my thoughts on the production. As I say, I do actually like the Addams Family. I liked the production I saw of it a couple of years back. I think the storyline is very original. I do actually kind of like what they've done with it. I just really hope that they do it justice and like the casting is good, because my goodness. Knowing the casting of that director, some of the characters might be a bit dodgy, but it's fine. We move past it, but knowing what I do about the casting, I think will be fine, to be honest. But anyway, as I say, I'll finish I'm going to finish my face, and then I will be right back with you. Probably like a quick clip against the door on my phone, like right before we go out, just because that tends to be what I like to do. And I will see you guys in a bit. So, and plus with my outfit, I'll do like an outfit reveal. But anyway, see you guys in a bit. So this is my finished face. Let me just pause this so I can show you my outfit. Okay, so ignore the mess that you see. But okay, this is very awkward to kind of hold the camera and to be showing you my outfit. Okay, here we go. So, necklace is from By Mistake. halter neck top, wild peach, skirt, H&M, sandals. Ooh. Sandals are from New Look. That is the outfit of let's go see a show. I'm very excited. I will give you my thoughts when I get back and then do the outro. So, hope this has been interesting so far. I don't know. Should I do this kind of thing in the future with events that I go to post-pandemic? I don't know. Let me know. Let's go. And I'm back. And it was a very good show. Props to them all. I'm going to end the video now. This is a very, very different video to what I normally do. Very chatty, kind of makeup related a little bit. If you guys want me to do more kind of chatty videos that are just kind of a bit more freestyle, by all means, let me know, and I'll do more of them when the opportunity strikes. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of my videos. Also, make sure to follow me on all my social media names, which will be, as always, at the end of this video. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.